Plant seeds of happiness, hope, success and love. It will all come back to you in abundance. This is the law of nature. Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about sexual mode of reproduction in plants. As we have discussed in the previous video, flower is the reproductive part of the plant. Flowers are most beautiful and colorful parts of the plant. They are not found on the plant throughout the year, but are born during reproductive phase of the plant life. A flower contains reproductive organs of the plant. The function of a flower is to produce male and female gametes, that is, pollen grains and egg cells. In most of the flowering plants, male and female reproductive parts are present in the same flower. Such flowers are known as bisexual flowers. For example, hibiscus, datura, mustard, etc. Some flowers contain either male or female reproductive part. Such flowers are called as unisexual flowers. Example: cucumber, papaya, watermelon, etc. Some unisexual flowers contain only stamen and are called male or staminate, while some have only carpel and are called as female or pistillate. In unisexual condition, both male and female flowers are found on the same plant. The plant is called as monoecious. Example: maize, watermelon, etc. But if they occur on two different plants, then the plant is termed as dioecious. Example: papaya. Let us discuss the structure of the reproductive unit of the plants, that is, flowers. We can define flower as a condensed reproductive shoot which is specialized to carry out sexual reproduction in higher plants. A flower is borne over a stalk called pedicel. The broad base of pedicel, to which all the parts of flower are attached, is called thalamus or receptacle. The thalamus bears floral organs or floral appendages, that is, calyx or sepals, corolla or petals, androecium or stamens, and carpels or pistil, that is also known as gynoecium. Sepals and petals do not directly take part in the sexual reproduction. Hence, these are known as accessory or non-essential parts of the flower. Stamens and carpels constitute the essential parts of the flowers as they take part in the sexual reproduction. Now let us discuss about the floral appendages one by one. The green colored leaf-like structures which form the outermost roll of the flower are known as sepals. Together they are known as calyx. Occasionally these sepals are bright colored and are also found that they are termed as petaloids. Sepals protect the flower in bud condition. In mature stage, they provide support to other floral organs. The bright colored beautiful structures are known as petals. These petals are modified leaves that surround the reproductive parts of a flower. They are generally large and bright in color, forming roll of a flower lying inside sepals or calyx. They are usually scented. Together, they are known as corolla. The function of petals or corolla is to attract insects for pollination and to protect the reproductive organs which are situated in the inner side of the corolla. When there is no distinction between petals and sepals of a flower, the structure is known as perianth, which comprises of tepals. Tepals are common in monocots. For example, aloe and tulip. So this was all about the accessory or non-essential parts of a flower. Now let's discuss about essential parts of the flower. The male reproductive part of the flower are known as stamens. Stamens of flower lying to the inner side of corolla. Collectively they are called as androecium. Each stamen has a cylindrical stalk called filament, on which there is a terminal swelling called as an anther. This anther produces the male gametes called as pollen grains. They are yellow colored microspores which take part in fertilization after successful transfer, that is pollination. The female reproductive parts are known as carpels. Carpels are lying in the center of a flower. Together, they are known as gynoecium. Each carpel or pistil is made up of three parts: stigma, style, and ovary. The top sticky part is known as stigma. The sticky nature of the stigma helps in adherence of pollens onto it. It also provides substratum for pollen germination. The middle part or stalk is called as style. It is elongated tube-like structure. The swollen basal part is known as ovary that contains ovules. These ovules have an opening at their base called as micropyle, that is for entry of the pollen tube after germination. The male and female gametes fuse in the embryo sac of the ovule. This fusion requires transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of the flower. So, for formation of seeds, two steps are necessary, which is pollination and fertilization. Pollination can be defined as the transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a flower to the stigma of the flower. Pollination is of two types, that is self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination is the transfer of the pollen grains from anther to stigma of the same flower or to stigma of another flower on the same plant. And cross-pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from anther of one flower to stigma of another flower on another plant. Pollination is followed by fertilization. Fertilization is the fusion of male and female gamete to form single cell, that is zygote. When the pollen grains fall on the receptive stigma, they absorb water and minerals from the stigma and germinate to produce pollen tubes. The pollen tube grows through style and reaches the ovary. Meanwhile, pollen grain nucleus divides into two male gametes. After reaching ovary, pollen tube enters the ovule through micropyle and pierces the egg. There, the tip of the pollen tube bursts open and male gametes come out. One of the male gametes fuses with the egg to form diploid zygote. This process is known as syngamy. The other male gamete fuses with polar nuclei. This is called as triple fusion. The primary endosperm nucleus forms nutritive tissue called as endosperm. The function of the endosperm is to nourish the developing embryo. This phenomenon, which involves two types of fertilization, is called double fertilization, that is syngamy and triple fusion. Double fertilization is the phenomenon of fusion of each male gamete with two different structures in the same embryo. So these are the two processes which are involved in the formation of the seed, that is pollination and fertilization. Now let us discuss about post-fertilization changes. What exactly occurs inside the ovary and how the fruit and seeds are formed. Changes that occur after fertilization are called as post-fertilization changes. The sepals, petals and stamens wither off. Style and stigma degenerate and only ovary is left behind. It also involves development of embryo and endosperm, maturation of the ovules into seeds and ovary into fruits. In a fertilized ovule, zygote is divided to form an embryo. The developing embryo obtains nutrition from endosperm. When the embryo is fully formed, the food is stored in endosperm. Both embryo and endosperm constitute the seed. A seed can be defined as a reproductive unit which grows into a new plant under suitable conditions. A seed contains embryo and cotyledons, having stored food for its development. The seed is covered with seed coat called as testa, that is formed from wall of the ovule. The part of the baby plant which develops into shoot is called as plumule, and the part which develops into root is called as radicle. The area of embryo axis between cotyledonary node and plumule is termed as epicotyle, and the area between cotyledonary node and radicle is called as hypocotyle. A typical young seedling consists of three main parts, that is radicle, plumule and cotyledon. Under favorable conditions, a seed germinates into a small seedling. Till that seed is in an inactive state, that is called as dormant seed. So this is how flowering plants reproduces. We will study about asexual mode of reproduction in animals in next session. Till that, read the chapter thoroughly, prepare the notes, and take care.